Hitting the brakes on private bus service in rural parts of Ottawa. A motion to explore the option fails to move forward at City Council. Good afternoon. This is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan. As Ottawa's rural population grows, so too does the need to get around. Today, City Council debated a motion to explore private transit service to get people into the city's urban centres more efficiently. CTV's Austin Lee joins us now with more details. Austin.
Well, Stefan, rural councillor David Brown brought forward a motion today which did receive pushback from some of his council colleagues. Ultimately, his effort to have city staff take a closer look at private bus service in rural areas failed on a tie vote. Some councillors taking issue with the idea of increasing private transit service, citing cost concerns for riders. Still, Brown is hopeful his plan can come to fruition. One aspect of his motion that did pass today directed staff to review the funding model for rural transit areas. Now, some residents in those communities, including Richmond, say as the population grows, they're on board with the idea of increasing transit options.
We're still moving forward. We still see that forward momentum being made, and that's important for residents to see that council fundamentally agrees that residents require transit. It's how we deliver it.
I think that's a great thing to look into. There's not enough options for people in rural communities who, especially with gas prices going up.
Now, part of today's motion, the portion that was voted down by council, it's similar to a directive that already has passed in the city's transportation master plan. And that means city staff are still reviewing partnerships with private and not-for-profit transportation providers. Some of Brown's council colleagues argue they should wait until they hear back from staff before moving further down the road towards privatization. Stefan.
CTV's Austin Lee reporting live for us. Thank you, Austin. CN Rail reached out to us to clarify the company's fuel surcharge we reported yesterday. The surcharge CN Rail applies to shipments is not new, but the rates can change monthly to accommodate the variability in fuel prices. These rates are posted publicly on CN Rail's website. May's rate is already posted and is higher than April's, and April's was higher than March, reflecting adjustments being made based on market volatility. Now, sticking with this topic, many industries are preparing for fuel prices to remain higher, especially in farming and transportation. CTV's Leah LaRocque has more. Leah.
Well, Stefan, for farms across our region, those high fuel costs are affecting everything from planting to transporting grains and goods. And as you mentioned, CN Rail has a fuel surcharge that fluctuates with the markets. But those high costs don't just stay on the farm, they ripple throughout the entire supply chain. So we spoke with Rutter's Elevators. It's a grain operator. It's a critical business to keep the agricultural system moving. They buy grain, dry it, store it, and ship it. But truckers are tacking on diesel surcharges after fuel prices soared because of the war in Iran. And on top of that, there are railway fuel surcharges that are adjusted monthly that rise with oil prices. And that's creating smaller margins and uncertainty for the business.
But the biggest hurdle is not knowing our actual fuel surcharges. While everything from tractors to tractor parts to inputs, chemicals, seed, everything it's just inflationary, and it just continues on and on and on.
Experts say it's not just a fossil fuel energy price shock that we're witnessing, it's a fertilizer shock too. 1/3 of the world's fertilizer goes through the Strait of Hormuz. So what does this all mean? It means that eventually consumers are going to be paying higher prices because those high costs on the farm will go throughout the entire supply chain. And who is at the end of the supply chain, Stefan? Consumers. Certainly. CTV's Leah LaRocque with this update for us. Thank you, Leah. And Ottawa drivers could soon be getting a break at the pumps after the U.S. and Iran agreed to that 2-week ceasefire. But it appears that ceasefire is on shaky ground today. There is confusion over exactly what is included in the agreement. It's also unclear what's happening to oil traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. Gas prices have jumped more than 50 cents a litre since late February, with prices in the capital hovering around $1.83 a litre for regular gas today. Canadians for Affordable Energy President Dan McTagg said gas prices could drop at least 12 cents a litre on Friday. The federal Liberals are now one seat shy of a majority government after longtime Conservative MP Marilyn Gladu crossed the floor to the government.
Marilyn has tremendous experience in business as an engineer, international business experience, and 10 years, 4 elections of experience in Parliament, and one of the most collaborative members of Parliament working across party lines.
Gladue is an MP in the Sarnia area in southwestern Ontario. She is the 5th MP to join the Liberals in as many months. The Ottawa Police Arson Unit is investigating an overnight fire in Centretown. Firefighters were called to a commercial building on Laurier Avenue West around 2:40 a.m. and encountered black smoke and heavy flames. The building houses businesses including a restaurant, lounge, and bar. The blaze was under control in about 40 minutes. A fire investigator was sent to the scene to determine the cause and where the fire started. The arson unit has now taken over. Police in Smiths Falls now say 4 students were arrested after a gun scare at the local high school yesterday. The Smiths Falls and District Collegiate Institute was in lockdown Tuesday morning after a report of a gun in the hallway. Police say 2 pellet guns were seized and have released this photo of them, noting they resemble Glock-style handguns. No one at the school was injured, but the school was in lockdown for more than an hour while police and school staff conducted classroom checks and some locker searches. Police have not announced any charges. Meanwhile, the province is planning to extend workplace safety and insurance coverage to workers in privately run care facilities like retirement homes. The change is part of a broader set of updates to labor rules. The government says the facilities, which include foster homes, are currently not subject to mandatory coverage. The update will mean roughly 29,000 workers will now be protected if they get hurt or become sick on the job. That includes nurses, personal support workers, and resident care workers. The Ford government is looking at rolling back some green initiatives when it comes to new developments. The proposed legislation means developers would no longer be required to add more tree canopy, electric vehicle charges, bird-friendly window coatings, or other sustainable design standards beyond what's required for health and safety. The government says changing the municipal standards will lower costs and get projects built faster. Horse racing in Ottawa is facing an uncertain future after Ontario Racing and the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Ottawa announced late last week it's shutting down the horse racing program, saying the Rideau Carleton Raceway is no longer sustainable. Some horse owners, trainers, and racers say they feel blindsided by the decision, forcing some to consider relocating to another Ontario racetrack or shut down operations completely.
It just kind of changes, your whole life, right? Like, you spent all winter, all summer with these horses. We breed our own horses here. So they're raised, we train them, they have a home for life. And then it just changes the scenario where if there's no racing here, the facility is probably sold and you move on.
But there is still hope for the horse racing community in Ottawa. The two sides are in talks with meetings scheduled later this week to try and save the rest of the racing season and the horse racing program at the Rideau Carleton Raceway. While wild turkeys seem to be taking over Ottawa for years, their numbers have been rising, and while these big birds may be welcome wildlife for some, others say they need to fly the coop. CTV's Tyler Fleming has more.
Stefan, we're talking turkeys today, and I'm in a little neighborhood right off of Prince of Wales where, it turns out there's a lot of turkeys around here.
There's 2 toms that are strutting their stuff, yeah. Yeah, it's mating season.
These birds are big, and they can be bold, and for some, they're quite a nuisance.
The delivery guys are afraid to get out of their trucks because the turkeys are out there.
They're everywhere. They're landing on people's yards, they're on driveways, sometimes they're even on railway tracks. And on Tuesday night, Ottawa Councillor Riley Brockington held an information session about living with wildlife, and turns out turkeys took the center stage.
We're at the point, though, where I do believe these turkeys need to be relocated. We are not able to coexist successfully because of how aggressive these turkeys are.
I haven't really had that much of a problem with them, but I can understand why people are concerned because they are big birds.
And one other thing you need to know about turkeys, if you think one may be trapped in your backyard because it's walking around in the fenced area, not so. These big birds, well, they can fly. Stefan?
Thank you, Tyler.
When we fill a truck, typically it would cost around $300. In the past week alone, we've seen it go to $480, and that didn't even fill a tank.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, with the gas prices roller coastering, many are watching how prices will be impacted and how it will affect them. We'll look at that a little closer, and our Jackie Pears is joining us live in studio. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Stefan. What the sunshine day we had today, it is going to last for at least tomorrow morning, but then we are anticipating maybe a spurt of some showers moving through. Overnight, though, -3. We're getting back to seasonal conditions. Tomorrow will be the warmest day that we've seen this week. 13 degrees is the anticipated daytime high, but we are anticipating heavy winds moving through. Right now, though, across eastern Ontario, temperatures sitting around 6 to 7 degrees. We'll get a full look at your long-term forecast in just a bit.
Thank you, Jackie. Here's what you need to know. Come cheer on the Ottawa Black Bears this Friday night at the Canadian Tire Centre. They'll take on the Toronto Rock in the last regular season home game. It's also Fan Appreciation Night. Game time is 7:30 p.m. A live check on traffic right now. The 417 westbound is slow from Bronson out to Woodruff. Eastbound is slow from Moody to Woodruff, and it's also slow moving from Bronson all the way out to Ennis in the eastbound lanes. The 174 east is moderate to heavy between the Split and Montreal Road. We'll be right back. Our popular Team of the Week segment is back. If you want to be a part of our Myers Automotive Group Team of the Week, upload your video to ctvnewsottawa.ca. Returning to that fragile ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran and the impact on gas prices. Oil prices plunged after the agreement was announced and markets surged. But now the question becomes, will the price of gas actually come down, and when? Here's CTV's Abigail Beeman with more.
With high demand from people who need their help, higher gas prices have made an already tough time even trickier at the Ottawa Food Bank.
When we fill a truck, typically it would cost around $300 to gas up a truck. But now, in the past week alone, we've seen it go to $480, and that didn't even fill a tank.
They call it a balancing act as they try to prioritize nutritious items like fresh fruits and vegetables.
And we know fuel prices come down slower than they go up. And that's really what the short-term impact was.
Oil price watchers say the good news is pump prices should drop as much as 14 cents by Friday.
Depending on where you are in the country, this is going to bring gasoline back to around $1.60 to $1.80.
The Prime Minister says Canada and allies are working towards the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz,
which is important for reestablishing stability and lowering prices in commodities. Of course, price at the pump, even here in Canada.
In the Middle East, a lot of the production was shut down because of the conflict, and you can't just flip a switch and turn it back on.
Getting longer-term pump relief is more complicated, with time needed to rebuild pressure for extraction and damage to Gulf infrastructure, the extent of which is not quite clear.
It could take months, in some cases years, to actually fix some of those assets. That could be partly mitigated by new supply coming from Venezuela.
As for when we could see pre-war prices at the pumps, answers from experts we've spoken with range from not anytime soon to unlikely before 2027. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen will speak with Prime Minister Mark Carney tonight as the crew of Artemis 2 prepares for Friday's return to Earth. We are getting a look at some of the stunning images the crew was able to capture during their lunar flyby, including a spectacular Earth set. The images are some of the clearest close-ups ever taken of the lunar surface. The crew spent about 7 hours at the Orion capsule's windows during the flyby, taking photos and recording observations of the moon to share with scientists on the ground. Coming up on CTV News at 5, the Ottawa Senators pulling out all the stops in a big game against a top Eastern Conference team on a mission to make the playoffs. Coming up tonight on CTV after the 6 o'clock news, E-Talk starts at 7, the Scrubs at 7:30, The Floor at 8, and Shark Tank at 10. The National Capital Region saw plenty of sunshine today, while spring-like temperatures are expected for the rest of the week. We could see the return of snow by Friday. Now for another check on the weather, here's Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Stefan. Again, we had lots of sunshine today. Tomorrow we might see a little bit of precipitation moving through, but it really is Friday we're keeping a close eye on. But first, here's a live look through our Centennial Glass sky cam. It's 6 degrees out there right now, showcasing Koweki Point, the National Gallery of Canada. That's a great spot to check out the sunset later this evening. Now, taking a look at temperatures for tomorrow, we're in for another sunny morning, so 7 a.m. starting around the freezing mark. So this is good news. We're going to warm up to about 10 degrees by by noon, and 12, 13 degrees is the anticipated daytime high, but by 4 p.m. we could see a chance of showers moving in. It isn't expected to linger very long, but it's going to come very quickly, but also very brief. Here in the valley, -1, mainly cloudy skies for the overnight. Winds are also going to be picking up really throughout eastern Ontario, up to 40 kilometers per hour. Few showers in store. 13 degrees is the anticipated daytime high. And as we look towards the Seaway, lots of sunshine in store tomorrow. 12 degrees is the anticipated daytime high. So we talked about this wintry mix that's making its way here to the region by the end of the week. This is a closer look. You can see by 7 a.m. down by Kingston, you'll see a lot more rain moving through. This is what we want to pay attention to. It's really going to move towards Ottawa by Friday morning. So we could see a mix of flurries, freezing rain, especially by Smiths Falls. Because it's warmer by Brockville and Kingston, we could see some thunderstorms rolling in as well. It should clear by Friday afternoon. So we are keeping a very close eye on this in terms of how much we are anticipated to get. Now, as we look at temperatures, while Friday will be the coolest day as temperatures drop to 5 degrees, we are going to start trending to double-digit temperatures Saturday and Sunday. No precipitation in sight, but I'm ballparking Monday for 18 degrees, the anticipated daytime high, and a slight chance that we could see some showers moving in as well.
Weather is brought to you by Manotick Tree, complete tree care from start to stump.
Get ready, Ottawa. We're giving away tickets to Stars on Ice, where champions shine. See some of Canada's most celebrated skaters, including skating legend Elvis Stoigo, at the Canadian Tire Centre on Sunday, April 26th. Now, this is your chance to experience the dynamic new show. All you have to do is enter for your chance to win at ctvottawa.ca. Wishing you the best of luck. So we might have a little bit of rain moving in tomorrow afternoon, early evening, Stefan, but it really is Friday that we are anticipating this active weather system. Let's go this way. This active weather system moving through here in Ottawa.
Thank you, Jackie. And here's a look at the stories you're checking out right now at CTV News Ottawa.ca. If you go to our website right now, scroll down just a little bit, and there is a traffic note that we want to let you know about. We know that they are going to be closing the Colonel by for some time, just so that people can get a chance to remove the equipment from the 56 skating season. There it is right there. That article's right there. That's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So over the next few days, they want to remove some of the equipment that was there for skating season. So just be on the lookout for some traffic disruptions and detours. Again, information, ctvnewsottawa.ca. Coming up for us here on CTV News at 5, a notable increase in the amount of parking tickets given out last year to Ottawa drivers. What's leading to that spike? Stay with us to find out. If you need gas this evening, one of today's cheapest gas prices can be found at the Stinson station on Bank Street in the Gloucester area. Regular gas there is going for 177.6 cents a litre.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. The temperature right now, 6 degrees. And it's time now for a look ahead to CTV News at 6. Here's Patricia Bull.
Thanks, Steph. Here's what we're working on for 6 o'clock.
The biggest hurdle is not knowing our actual fuel surcharges.
As uncertainty in the global energy market continues, farmers in Eastern Ontario are feeling the pinch. We'll take a closer look at how the cost of fuel is impacting some supply chains and could ultimately hit consumers.
We need a global leader with a plan to make a more resilient Canada, a stronger Canada, a more self-reliant Canada for this critical moment. And that man is our Prime Minister, Mark Carney.
Former Conservative MP Marilyn Gladue meets with Prime Minister Mark Carney after crossing the floor to put the Liberals within one seat of a majority. And quiet here now, but a protest is expected to get underway next hour in front of the U.S. Embassy on Sussex. It comes after Israeli attacks against the Hezbollah militant group in Lebanon cast doubt on a ceasefire agreement between the U.S. and Iran. All of that and more is coming up tonight on CTV News at 6. That's right after the early edition of CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo at 5:30. Steph.
Thank you, Patricia. Now the final 5 other stories we're following today. A new city report shows the number of parking tickets being issued in Ottawa is climbing. Bylaw officers issued more than 476,000 parking tickets last year, up from close to 452,000 tickets the year before. The report says the city received a record number of parking enforcement requests last year, mainly in school zones, bus routes, and residential neighborhoods. And the top parking infraction last year was unauthorized parking on private property. The city has seen a spike in illegal dumping complaints as well since the 3-item garbage limit came into effect in the fall of 2024. A recent city report shows Bylaw received more than 2,000 service requests for illegal dumping last year. That's up 263% from the year before. The city issued 10 charges and 133 notices of violation in 2025 related to illegal dumping. New research suggests vitamin D levels in midlife could play a crucial role in longer-term brain health and preventing dementia. An Irish team looked at the vitamin D levels of nearly 800 adults, with the average age being 39. Then they looked at information gathered from brain scans of those same patients 16 years later. Those with lower levels of the vitamin at the outset showed more protein deposits associated with preclinical dementia. Another big game for the Ottawa Senators, playing on home ice last night against the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Sens skating off with a decisive 6-2 win, and with that, the Sens still holding on to that wild card playoff spot. Next up for the Sens, another home game tomorrow against the Florida Panthers. The Charge are also playing in the capital tonight after last week's game in front of a record-breaking home crowd at the CTC. They lost that game 3-0 to the Montreal Victoire. Tonight, they're hosting Seattle Torrent at TD Place Arena. Puck drop is 7 p.m. That's CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan Keys. Thanks for watching.